I just came back from a weekend trip to Fort Madison, Iowa. Is it worth checking out? Fort Madison is a quiet town with a population of about 10,300 that sits right next to the Mississippi River in southeast Iowa. I spent a good few hours down by the riverside during the day and after dark. Hardly saw anybody. Very peaceful place to walk around. The path goes from the marina down to the train station. In the middle of your walk, be sure to check out the old Fort Madison. It's not actually the original, but it still looks pretty old, as you can tell by these stairs. Not going up those. There's a jetty that goes out into the river that you can walk out onto for not only a good view of the river, but also of the trains. Right next to the riverside is a pretty popular train crossing. Amtrak has a station in Fort Madison as part of their Southwest Chief Line. This makes it very accessible for train travelers. And aside from Amtrak, there are many freight trains going through to look at. You won't have to wait long to see one, and if train watching or boat watching is your thing, the Riverside Park has some spots for you. There's also a pedestrian bridge which goes over the train tracks and has holes cut out in the fencing for your viewing pleasure. On the north end of town is Rodeo Park. I took the Rodeo Park Trail, which was nice, paved, and relatively flat. Until it wasn't. There was a massive ravine that you go down into and then immediately up. Surprisingly steep. The park has a disc golf course, a playground, and it goes right by the Fort Madison Rodeo, which, if you're lucky, might be holding an event. The old Iowa State Penitentiary is in Fort Madison, and it was built around 1839. I didn't go into it, and I found conflicting information on whether you can go into it, but it's definitely impressive just to even drive by. Probably some ghosts in there. There's a mini golf course right next to the penitentiary, or if real golf is more your style, Schaefer Golf Course is about 10 minutes away. Fort Madison has a lot of Victorian architecture, and you can see these houses when you're walking down avenues like E or F. None of the houses look the same. I noticed some absolutely massive churches as well. I don't know if this has anything to do with the Victorian architecture, but you can see some of these churches from the riverfront, which isn't that far away, but still, they seem pretty massive. There's also a swing bridge that carries traffic from Iowa to Illinois and back again. It's very cool to watch it open and close for the barges, and when it does that, obviously the trains and the cars all have to stop, and it's kind of cool to see the backup, because it takes a long time. I put the footage in here of it opening and closing, but it's all sped up, of course, because it just took way too long. And by way too long, I mean like, I don't know, a minute to open, a minute to close. Not that long, but too long to ship, whatever. And I thought it would be cool to go over the bridge, and it was. But for your information, it's a toll bridge. I did not know that. So I get there, and they say, you can't pay with card, it's gotta be check or cash. I don't have check or cash. So if you do decide to go over this bridge, just keep in mind that unless you have check or cash, you're gonna have to send a $4 payment by mail to the railway, which is great. But if you don't wanna do that, just be prepared. W.A. Schaefer Pen Company, which was later purchased by Bic and then even later by another company, was created in Fort Madison. Downtown, there's a museum that features some of its utensils. And on the subject of downtown, it's absolutely worth exploring the area. There are a lot of cool storefronts. On Sunday, when I was there, however, it seemed pretty much like a ghost town. Didn't look like this photo. It does have the look of a place that could hold some pretty cool festivals or events. Every restaurant I went to was downtown and within walking distance from where I was staying. There were a good variety of places. Parthenon pizza was really good. I'm not sure, but it tasted like there was some honey in the sauce, maybe. It was a very good, surprising taste. I quite enjoyed the pizza. A Taste of China had me nervous at first because it had mixed reviews, but I got the beef lo mein and it was quite good. I would get it again. It was very good. I didn't get to try the other Chinese place, which was just 2 blocks south of A Taste of China. It was closed on Sunday, but you have options if you want Chinese. Turnwater Bar and Grill is a comfortable place sitting next to the marina and the riverfront. You have a view of the river and of the swing bridge. And if you sit out on the patio, you can even see the trains go by. And the patio is very nice. It's well lit. It's a beautiful design. It's like a wraparound patio. If it weren't so cold out there, that's where I would have been. There's also a bar downtown that I can't find the name of, but it's right here. Decent whiskey collection for the area. Good prices, and the woman who was running it I think she owns it. It was very, very nice. It was a very welcoming environment. For breakfast, I tried to go to the Fort Diner downtown, but unfortunately, it also only accepts cash and check. Next time, I guess. Or I could start bringing cash. Maybe that's just the way to go. There's also a few other diners, and there's like 3 Mexican restaurants in town. I didn't get to go to these, so I can't really say anything about whether they're good or not, but you have plenty of options of places to go to eat in Fort Madison. I even went to the grocery store to pick up some sugar cookies. Very, very good. And I was lucky too because the Airbnb left me some chocolate chip cookies, so I had 2 options of cookies, and I just had plenty of cookies. It was a great night. Now, I chose to stay in an Airbnb because of its downtown location. There were a couple like smaller local hotels down there, but I just figured Airbnb sounds good. And it was good because the only place that I couldn't walk to was Rodeo Park, which was only like a 5-minute drive anyway, so it was a very good location. On Airbnb, when I booked it, there were still like 10 options available, and I booked like just a week in advance. So there are options if you want to stay at an Airbnb in Fort Madison. Also on the west side, there are a few hotels, so if that's more your speed, you have options there as well. Overall, if train watching, boat watching, or Victorian architecture is something that you enjoy, I think you're going to love Fort Madison. I think you're going to like it even if you don't like those things. I think you won't have a problem finding something you enjoy there. It's a really cool small town. And with the accessibility with Amtrak and the highways, it makes it very easy to get there. So I would say Fort Madison is a great weekend trip. I was never bored in Fort Madison. Thanks for watching.